All right, brother. Thanks for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for having me.
This is my good friend Vuja Jovic. I just wanted to, I'm sitting down with a lot of entrepreneurs, health-minded, fitness-type people, especially involved in real estate. You have a great real estate portfolio and just experience in real estate. But before we start, why don't you just give us a little bit about yourself, a little intro?
Well, I grew up in southeastern Europe in Serbia and came to the U.S. As a youngster at 18 on basketball college scholarship. Played some professional basketball after my college career and then got into real estate immediately, but also got back into basketball as a basketball agent for about a dozen years. So um, been in real estate all that time for 20 plus years, but been in and out of multiple different businesses and done great with some and not so great with others, and just accumulated a lot of experiences that I believe kind of help my judgment moving forward in all types of situations.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about being an agent in the NBA? I mean, I don't know anybody else that has done that.
Well, I mean, it definitely was fun. And especially the first several years in the business, that was a lot of fun, and a lot of great things were happening during that time. So I definitely experienced a lot of the first movements that upsurge in the Europeans arriving to the NBA, and then just all of these teams in the NBA just being so open to European players, and was definitely the first one to actually take American players and spread them around Serbia, which is now a common practice since 2001, when I actually brought several of the first players that play there. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. It got old after a while, as everything does, because of too much traveling and not traveling at times when I wanted to travel. So I actually went back to what I feel most comfortable with and what I do really well with, which is real estate, and continue to do that, and as well as just developed my new app, the shared economy app, which is gonna be released very very shortly.
Yeah, tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about this app coming out.
Well, the mobile app, it was actually designed and created over the past year, um, with no intent for this new economy, but with intent to work great in all economies. So its um, its intent and purpose was to actually materialize, but not just materialize, but like also uh, bring the ability of people to be connected on a whole new level, to where they
In what
live this
sense?
abundant lifestyle, where they're sharing their resources and expand this shared economy idea to a whole new level. We all know that Airbnb was so revolutionary and just like kind of a weird concept about 7, 8, 10 years ago, because who the heck wanted to share their house with a stranger or share their properties and like almost act like a hotel? But it has definitely evolved like to whole new levels.
Yeah, it seems
And
normal
now,
now, but back in the
yeah,
day, I mean, that was a
exactly.
completely foreign concept, and I'm sure super weird to some people.
Absolutely. So now, I definitely believe to have a product that will help people, especially in a time like this when everybody will be looking for some opportunity to where they can make money. Everybody will be looking for ways to save money. People are going to be living these, or attempting to live these abundant lifestyles to where they're not so tied to their things, and they do not want to be buying and buying and buying, but actually sharing and sharing their resources, which I believe it can be a new mover of economy, and then include a lot of people that are struggling nowadays to find something to do and create some extra income. We do have uh, the luxury category, grab that luxury, coming up shortly as well, where um, very wealthy individuals will be able to share their resources like airplanes, yachts, expensive, luxurious real estate or islands or whatever else that they might be able to utilize from each other.
Yeah, and I mean, it adds a whole nother layer to, I mean, the overall economy if this got out on a viral stage. It's,
It really isn't. I mean, there are some um, apps out there that are limited, but to me, there was a real value in creating an app where you can actually share all your resources and just do. I mean, this is what we're trying to accomplish is um, even with our slogan is basically grab anything, anywhere, at any time. And another one to where we have created it's basically shared economy has a new name. It's called Grab That. It's a new marketplace essentially for shared economy, and that's where we believe that this global economy, this on the move economy where everybody wants to be free and still be able to live abundant lifestyles with freedom. People will be able to utilize it and help whatever cause they may have in it.
all right. Why don't we talk a little bit about your transition from, NBA agent to getting back into real estate? Did you find the transition smooth and some of those skill sets that you had kind of easily, applied in real estate?
Well, I mean, I actually, as soon as I stopped playing basketball, I got into real estate immediately. So, and I didn't start, I didn't start small like most people uh, tell you should do. Um, I started creatively. I started with small investment, relatively, but I started with a 46 unit apartment complex. So, um,
That's a
so I
pretty big
bought.
undertaking for just getting in the business.
Yeah, and I knew nothing about it, but I knew that whatever I put my mind to, and if I'm willing to put my efforts into it, I'll make it work, and that's exactly how it worked out. So I bought 46 unit apartment complex for a little bit over $900,000 at the time. So, and I believe opportunities like that will come about again, believe it or not. And I was able to negotiate buying it with just $36,000 down. Um,
Wow, how'd
and
you do that?
well, it was another downturn in the economy, and most units needed work. So how I did that, yeah, you know, uh, it's just a lot of hard work and just figuring out how to leverage others' efforts, and then um, kind of count on future rentals, whatever is coming, and then being able to market your future product, which probably a lot of you already know what I'm talking about. So you just have to get creative. You got to be open, be on your toes, and do it that way. So yeah, I've done really well with that deal, and then continued with other projects afterwards.
Do you prefer to operate more in the commercial space, or do you enjoy like the residential side of things?
Well, essentially, um, you can never get burned with residential. If you want to be safe and stay safe um, within the real estate markets, you can just simply live by the rule: buy low and then sell high, and you'll be okay. And you won't get hurt. You will build a lot of wealth. It'll take you a long time to build that wealth, but if you're patient with it and you have a little bit of resources and good financials behind you, which you can build within years, essentially that's the best way to go. I've
But just
done really well with commercial.
aggressive in finding the right deal
I'm
rather
sorry.
than just be aggressive in finding the right deal rather than be anxious to just get into real estate. Or I mean that goes for everybody, just making sure that you're having enough space in the deal.
It's not even aggressive. It's actually, I would say, patient. Just
Yeah.
be really patient to find the right deal. But uh, when the right deals start to pop up, don't be afraid to dive in. Um, Another thing to actually look out for, which I believe is very, very important, is diversify some, but don't overextend, and don't try to apply yourself in too many things, because that can absolutely stop your growth. Whatever you're able to um, wherever you're able to have a controlled growth, where you're able to manage your portfolio in an efficient way, uh, and then have sustainable growth, you're okay. You can grow large, but just like in anything, scale it, and be smart about how you try to leverage your efforts, your money, and always try to retain some level of cash, and then just staying liquid as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. For first-time investors or just any investor.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, it's the basic rules that you pretty much hear from everybody, but when it comes to real estate, it's just there's not much science to it. I pretty much believe anybody can do it as long as you're disciplined and uh, somewhat careful about what you invest and how you invest, and are willing to pay attention to it. You'll make good money in it.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love, I mean, the real estate industry in general. Obviously, we're in different ends of it, but I believe that, it's so much on you and your discipline and what you put in every day. And if you do it right, it provides so much freedom. Like, I just can't imagine going back to a life where you're clocking in at, the whole 9 to 5. I mean, it sounds horrible. And someone else telling you when you can take your lunch, and, oh, you took 10 minutes too long on your lunch for writing you up. Like, writing me up? Like, what? For eating my food? Like,
Yeah,
crazy. Real
yeah,
estate's a great profession.
yeah. Fortunately, I've never had to experience that in my life, and was always able to create my own hours, my own freedom, my own ability to travel pretty much anywhere I want at any point. I mean, I've traveled to 73 countries in the world. As you know, I'm always traveling somewhere, and have managed to have enough time to stay very active and still play basketball and tennis. Not during the lockdown, I'm sorry, but even playing tennis during the lockdown and being active physically. So yeah, it's. I think I've been able to find good balance with it too.
Yeah, I think so much of being an entrepreneur and real estate, of course, but just an entrepreneur in general is learning yourself, learning your best practices and how you can kind of, formulate the perfect life for who you are. There's not necessarily a guideline you need to follow. And at 9 a.m. I do this. At 10 a.m. I do this. It's just finding, a healthy flow that fits your kind of life force balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, some people need structure, and it's good if they create some of the structure. I mean, some of my challenges that I've had throughout the years is that there is that large gap, and then that empty space that you can always define yourself. So where do you find a balance with that? So when you reach certain levels, you already have so much freedom, and then you get so accustomed to it, and then you're not feeling like working or whatever. So it's all about creating the fine balance. And then if you realize and understand yourself and how you're wired, and then creating a little bit of that structure, then it's a win-win situation. Some people can struggle with that. God knows I've been struggling struggling with it at times as well. But
I think we all do. And I don't mean to abandon all structure. I just mean learn how you operate, and so you can better define a structure that works for you.
absolutely, yeah. Define your own structure. I mean, at least if you have the ability and freedom that to design that for yourself. I mean, you're already winning. You're already ahead.
Yeah, that is success, dictating kind of what your life looks like on a day-to-day basis, not someone else. I read something today where if you're not creating plans for yourself, someone's creating plans for you.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your travels? About 73 countries. What's the favorite place you've been to?
I'd say the favorite country that I've gone to and multiple times, probably been there a dozen times, is Spain. Definitely, because they offer so much of what I love, which I love hanging out on the beach and dipping in the ocean or sea wherever I travel. But I love history. I love authentic foods, healthy authentic foods. I love different cultures. I love learning different cultures, learning languages, learning how others operate and respond in certain situations. Because I definitely believe that you can actually learn something from anyone. It doesn't matter what kind of social spectrum and the side of the spectrum you're introduced to and who you talk to, but you can literally learn something from a homeless person on the street. You can learn something from a Chinese person that doesn't speak a word of English, and you can learn something from just about anybody that you come across if you're open. If you're not, then you probably are just going to be set in your ways, and nothing opens you up more, and nothing broadens your horizons more than travels do. Yeah, nowadays we're so connected with social media, with media, just everything is the tip of your fingers. Any type of knowledge or anything that you want to expand and learn about, but uh, still nothing beats the firsthand experience, and then uh, being somewhere uh, new, and then immersing and learning a new culture and new ways, and then just experiencing it for the first time or for the second time or several times if you enjoying it, because every time you learn something new. So to me, traveling is one of my biggest passions, and it's going to continue to be one of my biggest passions for as long as I live.
No, that's beautiful. I love the statement you said too, just about you can learn something from anybody. Like everybody, I mean, that's what this life is. I think it's a training ground. Like it's an ability to learn about yourself, learn about yourself through other people even.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you can learn something from somebody else rather than making a mistake and having to learn it that way, you're already ahead.
No, that's a great point, brother.
Yeah.
What do you have a favorite quote?
I believe my favorite quote and what I live by, and I mean sometimes struggle with, but I live by for the most part, is it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, you can pretty much apply it to anything in life. Um, I'm a firm believer that uh, you can always do your best and um, apply yourself to your highest levels, and then continue to strive to improve and learn something new every day that you're on this earth. And and especially when you have a purpose in life, but also I'm a firm believer that you can't try to control things that you're not in control of. we just need to learn to let go of those things. And basically, some things that are, they just are, and it is what it is. We need to accept them and just learn from them and move on.
Yeah, no, a good friend said to me as well. He's like, double your efforts, increase your efficiency.
Yeah.
I think that was a great quote, and because I mean, right now we're dealing with such uncertain times, and in uncertain times, the only thing you can really control is your effort and kind of what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a great point.
Well, I love it, brother. I really appreciate you sitting down with me today. It's a beautiful California day. Thanks for giving us some insight, not only about real estate, but just being an entrepreneur and health, fitness. I mean, I think we covered a great range of topics.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I really appreciate you. I love you, bro. And yeah, have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, brother. Speak soon.
All right. Talk to you soon.